Soothers. Welcome to season 2 of Soothing Sessions, living in alignment, walking in faith and obedience beyond the journey. Season 1 was the journey to inner peace and purpose. Season 2 is living it daily, intentionally, obediently. If you're new here, I encourage you to go back and watch season 1, The Journey to Inner Peace and Purpose, because healing matters, the journey matters. This season will meet you differently when you understand where you've been. Today, we begin where alignment begins, with acceptance. This session is all about the peace of acceptance. Peace is the fruit of acceptance. Trusting God's plan explains why that peace is possible. Acceptance is not a loss, it's alignment. Season 2 is about posture, maturity, obedience, discipline. Before you can walk in alignment, you must make peace with what is and begin trusting what will be. It's for the moments when life didn't unfold the way we planned, and we learn how to rest in God's will without resistance, bitterness, or fear. As always, before we begin each session, we'll set an intention and we'll close with an affirmation. So grab your Bible, your journal, light your candle, get your favorite drink, and let's settle into this space. Let this moment be safe. Let it be gentle. Let it be real. Before we begin, let's set our intention. I release resistance and choose peace, trusting God's plan beyond my understanding. I open my heart to alignment through acceptance. Let's take a deep breath in. Exhale. All right, let's begin. Season 2 is about daily faith, not emotional highs, and acceptance is the doorway to that. Understanding acceptance. Acceptance is one of the hardest spiritual lessons you'll ever learn. Not because it's wrong, but because it requires us to release control. It confronts our ego. It forces us to admit that some outcomes was never ours to manage. Acceptance does not mean giving up. It does not mean, oh, you didn't want something bad enough. It doesn't mean that, oh, my prayers were ignored. Acceptance means you acknowledge reality without fighting it. It's emotional honesty. It's maturity. It's saying, this is where I am, and I trust God even here. So often we suffer because of not what happened, but because we are resisting what happened and what is. It's acknowledging what is outside of your control and surrendering to it without resistance. You can't walk in obedience if you're still fighting reality. You cannot discern clearly if you are emotionally resisting what God has allowed. It makes room for discipline. It prepares you for obedience. It steadies your patience. It sharpens your discernment. It protects your peace. Acceptance is the foundation of alignment. Acceptance and control. There are things in life that we cannot control, and there are things in life that we can influence. You can apply for that job, but you can't control who they hire. You can show up fully in a relationship, but you cannot control who stays. You can pray for a child, but you cannot control how or when God answers. When we try to control timelines, outcomes, divine decisions, we exhaust ourselves. So why try? Release. Acceptance frees you from trying to play God in your own life. Acceptance says, I've done my part. I release what I cannot carry. I choose peace over control. And in that choice, peace begins to grow. Letting go of what was and embrace what is. And this is where acceptance becomes real. Letting go doesn't mean you didn't care. It doesn't mean that your dreams weren't valid. It doesn't mean that your grief wasn't real. It means you are choosing to live fully in the present instead of staying trapped in what could have been. You can honor what you hope for and still embrace what is. Acceptance is the bridge between grief and peace. Acceptance through faith. Faith is what makes acceptance possible. Romans 8:28 reminds us, and we know all things work together to good for them that love God. Not some things, all things. Faith reminds us that God sees what we cannot, that redirection is not rejection, that unanswered prayers still carry purpose. When you truly trust God, acceptance becomes easier. It's not painless, it's peaceful. And what is meant for you will find you, and what didn't unfold wasn't meant to define you. This session is deeply personal for me because I had to go through a season of acceptance. I spoke in the last session, the clarity of purpose, finding my purpose through the journey of motherhood. There came a moment that I had to accept that motherhood was not a part of my alignment. It was painful. I grieved. I cried. I questioned God. It was dealing with identity, comparison, watching everybody have kids around me, and I'm still stuck in this place of trying to become a mother. I just felt like my life was at a pause. And I really didn't know what to do. But I also knew the truth, and that is that I did everything that I could do. So when it didn't happen, I had two choices: stay in resistance or choose peace. Acceptance allowed me to stop questioning my faith, questioning my unanswered prayers, questioning my worth. It helped me to stop comparing myself to others. Um, it helped me to really understand and process that God must have something even greater for me and for my life. It gave me permission to move forward without bitterness, without the pain. I processed it and then I released it. And acceptance helped me find my peace with motherhood. And my peace did not begin until I accepted the reality that that was not a part of my alignment. And once I accepted it, I was able to move forward. Acceptance didn't erase the grief, it didn't make it painless, it just made it peaceful. I realized that fulfillment and purpose extends beyond one role. And once I tapped into that and made peace with that, everything started to align the way that God intended it to. So I don't say that, oh, me not being a mom or my husband and I not being parents, that's punishment. No, it's not punishment because we still have children all around us. We have nieces and nephews. We have godchildren. So we're not lacking being nurturers to children. Just because we biologically do not have our own, that does not make us not parents to the children that we do have around us. And with that, I found alignment in that. Alignment often looks like loss before it looks like purpose. Acceptance is not settling, It's surrendering to divine order. It's understanding that God's plan may look different, but it's never less. Acceptance is opening the doors for a new journey, a new calling, a new purpose. When you stop clinging to what didn't happen, you make space for what will happen. But you got to get out of your own way, and you have to accept it is what it is. We have no control over this thing called life. You do the work, you do your part, but what is will be, and what isn't will not. So just accept it, stop resisting it, stop fighting it, and move on. And just trust that God has your back. Your steps are ordered, and just trust the process. But once you accept it and find that peace, sky's the limit. Alignment begins when resistance ends. Proverbs 19:21 reminds us, many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. We can plan all we want, but what God has for you is what God has for you. So if your plans does not go according to what you want, you have to trust that God's purpose over your life is much bigger than anything that you could ever even imagine. Philippians 4:7 tells us, and the peace of God surpasses all understanding and will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. Meaning that God is protecting you from yourself. The peace that He has over you, it will surpass anything that you can imagine for yourself. So He is protecting you even though you feel like He did not answer something that you wanted, which is why I say rejection is protection and redirection. Isaiah 55:8-9. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, and my ways are not your ways, said the Lord. Self-explanatory. How what I'm thinking and what I know for your life may not be what you're thinking and what you know for your life. But I am God. I know all. I am all. So trust me that I'm guiding you to your purpose. Peace does not come from control. Peace comes from trust. And you have to trust God. That's the only way this is going to work. Accept it and trust that God, the Most High, is guiding you to your path to purpose, guiding you to your path to peace. Just accept what is not and embrace what is. And I assure you, you will live a beautiful life of peace, of gratitude, because you know that the Most High is ordering your steps. And when I say the level of peace that I have now, and again, this is like over 2 years in the making. So it is a journey to get here. But once you're here, oh my goodness, the release, the exhale, just wow. It almost, you almost question yourself like, why didn't I do this sooner? Why did I tug of war and just resist something that I had absolutely no control over? And another thing, what I said before, the truth is I did all that I can do as far as my situation to my journey to motherhood. And in any situation, when you have done all that you could do, because what is meant for you is meant for you, it will not pass you by. So when you have done all that you could do and it still doesn't happen, then you can make peace with that, because it's like, I have no regrets. I've done everything. Everything. So if this is what it is, then I have to live with that. Because in my truth, if motherhood was a part of my alignment, then I would be a mother. I've been with my man almost 16 years, married almost 11. If we're meant to have kids, we would have been had kids. But that is not what God has aligned for me right now. So I've made peace with it. I don't live with any regrets because we did all that we could do. And I've accepted it. It took a while to get here, but we here now. And honestly, I love it on this side because going through experiences, going through trauma, it builds strength, it builds character. And the level of peace that I have right now, I don't think I would have gotten here if I did not go through that IVF journey. I know that I would not have gotten here if I did not go through that. And sometimes it takes real trauma, like real life heavy stuff. And when you conquer it and you come out on the other side healed, and when you have surrendered to God in that healing and you find your peace, it creates a new version of yourself. You know, I'm not the same Shannon that I was prior to. And if I can feel this level of peace all the time, then I'm grateful for that experience. And I'm grateful for God for having me go through that because now I can show up for you and for the next woman or couple or man or whoever is going through whatever situation. I can show you with real life experiences that there is joy on the other side of pain. There's peace on the other side of chaos. You just got to go through it and take your time. It's no rush. Don't let nobody rush you through your process. You'll get there when you get there, but when you get there, ooh, something will unlock in you and you will be an unstoppable force. So I pray that for you as you go through your journey. My soul soothers, I want you to sit with this question. What am I still resisting that God is asking me to accept? And then ask yourself, what would alignment look like if I trusted God's plan and not my own? Write it down, pray on it, reflect, because alignment begins with honesty. As we end this session, let's close with our affirmation. I invite you to say this out loud. I accept what is with grace and faith, trusting God's plan beyond my own. Peace flows through me as I walk in alignment. Thank you so much for walking into season 2 with me and for this first session, the peace of acceptance. I pray that this session resonated with your soul. And if you loved it, please subscribe, like, comment, and share it with someone who is struggling to find acceptance in their own journey. And if you haven't already, make sure you go back and watch season 1, The Journey to Inner Peace and Purpose, because the foundation matters. Also, get my book, Journey to Inner Peace and Purpose. It is a self-help guide as you go through these sessions. It's available on my website, on Amazon. I'll put the link in the description. This season is about living what we learned. Thank you so much. I love you, Soul Soothers. I appreciate you. Until next time, We're here to soothe souls one session at a time.